Friends, greetings. I'm glad to be back with the third episode of Coach Excellence Pill series, where we cover the concept in a very small episode that is easy for you to go through, enjoy, relish, and share. Today, I have a very seasoned coach, Coach Khadija, with whom I have been interacting for the last 1 year. Today, we will get to hear from Coach Khadija as to what her uh, experience has been being a coach and what she has done so far in this short conversation. Without any further delay, I would request Khadija to share quickly a short introduction so we can jump into the conversation. Over to Khadija.
Thank you, Kiran. Thank you so much for having me on your platform, Kiran. So, I am Khadija from Mumbai, and I am a certified ACC coach specialized in relationship coaching. And I have done my NLP, and presently I am pursuing my career in transactional analysis. So, this is just about me in a
Fantastic.
nutshell.
So I always end up watching the short videos that you share on Instagram platform. I'm sure the audience will also enjoy it at the end of this conversation. And once they get the name of your handle, that part we'll cover towards the end. So let's begin. The very first question, Khadija, what is coaching to you?
Kiran, coaching to me is more of a spiritual thing, you know, because when the client comes and sits, that very moment the healing starts. And why does it start? Because in the process of coaching, we do not scratch their wounds, we don't talk about the past. And the client gets the space where the client can hear himself or herself out loudly. It is a space where the client is free to talk, to express their feelings, to go deep into their inner world without the fear of being judged. So from that space, whatever comes out helps the client to grow. So for me, uh, in my language, if I say, coaching is like an ibadat to me. It's a worship.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
So I think we started off on a very deeper note itself. So few takeaways for me from what you just shared is what stood out was the spiritual element of what coaching is, and how you also mentioned about it has the power to heal, and one gets an opportunity to hear themselves. Often we tend to see, okay, if I do everything, what does a coach do? But I think the best equipped person always is self, and you just narrated in a very in a fabulous way. And also, last but not the least, you mentioned that the coachee gets to express themselves without any fear of being judged, which is, I think, something all get stuck with, of being judged, and the fear of being judged itself stops often many in achieving their best. So with that,
Exactly.
let's move to the next one. Who do you think benefit from having a coach?
Kiran, I think every soul benefits from having a coach. A soul who has a need and a desire to change, to evolve, to grow needs a coach. See, I being a coach, I have a coach on my head, you know. Uh, why? Because, uh, the mechanism, the way the mind is, sometimes in the mind, I will give you an analogy to make you understand things very clearly. Sometimes what happens is like you are very hungry, and you have a plate in front of you. But in that plate, it is like gajar ka halwa, dal chawal, papad, salad, so many things, mixed up. So your brain fails to understand whether it is a food, should I eat it, should I not eat it, what to do, because it's all khichdi, on the plate. So similarly, in the minds of human, all the thought process are sometimes, intermingling and it's getting entangled between themselves. when you are stuck in the situation, right? So this coaching is a beautiful process in which the client can see the plate,
Mm,
in which they can see that halwa, they can see that dal and rice, they can see the salad, they can see the papad, properly placed.
mm,
And then the client can understand that, oh, I had the food to eat. And the client can decide that, oh, I want to eat papad first, or I want to go with the halwa first, or should I eat this much, what time, right quantity, everything, every decision is taken by the client.
mm.
So things are simplified when it is put in front of them instead of that khichdi thing which is going in the mind.
Got
So
it.
this is the power of coaching.
That's a fantastic way of uh, how to experience the thali in the best way possible. And I think here the consumer is getting a clarity and choice of what to begin with, and the clarity of the visibility of what is what, and and also making a choice of what to begin with and what to end with. And also, what stood out for me while you start the very sentence you started with is coaching suits every soul. I think can't agree more on that. And you made it clear that everyone benefits when you shared, even a coach has a coach. So it goes on to validate how everyone, including the coaches, benefit by having a coach. Thank you for that.
Exactly.
So with that, let's move to the third one. A very often asked question. One myth, so there are many, they say, one myth about coaching that you would like to burst today.
So coaching is a journey. Okay. It is sometimes the client, many of the clients think that, you take the problem and the problem is solved. But coaching doesn't solve the problem. It solves the person in a way, and the person is in that resourceful state that he or she can solve his or her problem on their own. And the reason for this is that all this mechanism, the wiring of our brains are different. So the formula which is working in my life is not necessarily going to work in your life, right? So for you have to go inside your system and see what works for you. So coaching is like fixing a problem, giving the ready-made solution is a myth. No, coaching is a process which believes that you are 100% more resourceful than what you can think. And we coaches, we are just mirrors. We help you see things. Mirror never says that, okay, go and correct your lipstick or go and correct your dress color. It never does. It just shows what you are. And then you decide that, okay, this is a change I need to make because it doesn't suit me or whatever. So this
Fabulous.
is a myth. Yeah.
I think it resonates with me when often I heard that though how much ever tempting it is to discuss the problem or the subject, often it is shared that if the person becomes, as you mentioned, 100% more resourceful, whether it is a problem, whether it is a topic, or whether it's a wish, the person themselves become that much more powerful to attend to that subject and many more subjects that may follow. So, as you articulated in the beginning, it's a journey and not a short start and stop kind of an activity. And it being a process, I think pretty much captures that it can continue to improve the person who goes through this process. So thanks for that, breaking the myth part, Khadija. So with that, let's move to our next one. Is there any coaching memory that you would like to share with the audience? Obviously, confidentiality taken care of.
Okay, Kiran. So in my starting days of coaching, I had an experience with one client. The client was speaking very less. He used to not speak much. And there was a point in the conversation where I, as a coach, was stuck.
Mhm.
It was a dead end, you can say. I did not understand how could I take the conversation further. And so I honestly asked the client that, what do you think? What question should I put that would help you at this moment?
Mm.
And to my utter surprise, Kiran, the client started speaking, and the client himself gave me the questions that at this moment I want to be asked this thing. And from that experience, the coaching conversation went very powerful ahead. And what I realized as a coach was that vulnerability, people can relate to the vulnerable part of Khadija and not the perfect part of Khadija. So authenticity, this is a very noble profession, Kiran. Coaching is a very noble profession in which authenticity is very important, which is sensed by the client. The client is very intelligent, he or she understands. If in that situation, if I would have behaved in a way that I know everything, so no, it's not that. Client and the coach both are equal.
Mm.
They are just trying to explore things together. Nobody is like even one step above. No. So the authenticity and this thing which I felt, that how much this profession demands, and then only you can create the results. So this was a experience which I will never forget in my life.
That's fabulous. Three things that stood out for me. I'll start with probably the easiest one, and often not acknowledged, is the coach and the coachee, and in fact, everyone as an equal. I think the journey starts from there. And while you were arriving at the term of vulnerability, I was just trying to pen it down because you were explaining the concept, and then I was trying to write down vulnerability as a word. And in this example, what you shared, when the vulnerability is coming from the coach self, themselves, I think it opens the coaches to be much more, be willing to be vulnerable in that conversation. And I think every other conversation, not only conversation, going forward in everything they do, I believe they will believe in practicing vulnerability without hesitation. And the last term,
Exactly.
what you
Because
shared.
Kiran, one thing I would like to mention here, Kiran, is that the client also starts understanding that we all are humans and we are perfectly imperfect, all of them. Okay, it's like काम चालू है, work in progress. We all are work in progress. So that client also starts, started working in that direction.
That term
Yeah.
perfectly imperfect, I think, stands out in that part. And the last one, what I captured from this example was the importance of being authentic. I think once everyone is authentic to their true self and being what they are actually and present themselves as what they are, I think the world changes for them because they don't have to be anything different from what they are. And the rest of the world, I think, starts accepting them as what they are, and whatever else follows, I think, is progress. So with that, let's move on to the next question. In your opinion, what do you think, why we ask questions to the client? Is there any science or a logic behind this process of asking questions?
So Kiran, what I think is that we all are humans and we all are wired differently. Okay. So because of this mechanism, what happens is that we we tend to delete, distort, and generalize things in our mind when we are narrating the story to the coach. Okay, we delete some informations which is not acceptable to us or according to us, or we generalize some things which are from our belief system or something. So we don't do it purposely. Nobody does it purposely, but the brain is programmed in that way. So what happens that by asking questions, we take the client from the superficial experience to the true experience,
Mm.
you know. And when the client moves from this superficial to the true experience, the client can see the things properly. Oh, so this is the thing. I should be doing this. And it I was doing this and this should be done. The client sees it. Now, sometimes some people may say the questions are so silly, but none of the questions are silly. Everything has a power because it takes the client deep within. Every word, even what the client utters, from their mouth. For example, some people may say, I want peace. Some people may say, I am feeling guilty. So, you ask them, what is the meaning of that word? And why do you ask them? Because that word, if it has come out of the mouth, it has a history behind their system, why they are using this word. So this is the logic, according to me, that to take the client to the true experience, you need to ask them the questions.
Interesting. Something that stood out from this part of the conversation is when you shared about the client deleting, distorting, and generalizing, and that activity being a superficial, at a very superficial level, and the coach conversation supporting them in going deeper and experiencing the meaning of those words, what they are using in their context. I think when they get to get that to that deeper level, I'm sure that they are making progress there. And as you mentioned, the client then travels deeper. And the whole purpose of that conversation, I think, has a very high likelihood of getting benefited, the coachee getting benefited from the conversation in such conversations, and not leaving the whole conversation at a peripheral level. I think that's where I hear the curiosity and the questions that they often use the word powerful questions that come from the coach does bring a lot of change to the coaches. Some actually far deeper, sudden, impactful as well. Great to hear that.
Right.
So with that, let's move on to the last one for this conversation. Given an opportunity to share just one advice, what would it be for the wannabe coaches? From Khadija.
So, Kiran, I would like to ask them to reflect that when a client is born, the client is born when, we have two faculties, the head and the heart. And when there is an imbalance between the two faculties, the client is born. Okay.
Hmm.
So some people are highly logical in their thinkings, So as a coaches, you have to understand the human and you have to enter through that gate. If this person is logical, you have to enter through this gate and then enter the heart, because of course he is using this faculty as well, but the predominant faculty is this. And if you find your client to be emotional, talking more of feelings and stuff, the gateway is through the heart. And then you may exit or take the client to the head part. So in order to have a rapport with the client, you need to understand which gate you should enter as a coach.
Fantastic. I think that's short, crisp, but very deep. When you started with the word to reflect upon, I think that term itself, I have experienced it to be so powerful, either in the role of a coach or as well as a coachee. And the role of faculties that you narrated about, head and heart, and the importance of the gateway, I think is can't be is an understatement. How important that gateway of entry, I think, sets the whole, they say, as a safe space, comfort, and the chemistry. I think it supports these well, and thereby the conversation making progress. So a very nice way of articulating how to arrive or create that space of safety and what you can say, comfort, my space for the coaches. So with that, today's conversation would come to an end. Before we complete, Khadija, how would you like anyone who's interested to get in touch with you for a conversation or any Q&A or for any other reason to reach out to you? What is the easiest way?
So anybody who would like to reach me can reach me through my handle, which will be mentioned here. It's a Coach Khadija. On that page, you will find very useful videos also, which can give you good highlights, and it will make you reflect on day-to-day life. So I have done my best on that page. So you can connect me through that.
I can vouch for that because I often enjoy and experience, learn a lot from those short videos. Everyone must check out the Instagram handle to benefit from those small nuggets of wisdom coming from Khadija. And if you would like to get in touch with her, already Khadija has shared, I will also be featuring the handle in the comment section as well. So with that, friends, hope the conversation has supported you in some way. And if you have liked it, please share it with your friends and those who you feel will benefit from it. So with that, thank you for today. Until we come back with the next episode, please be safe and all the very best and good luck. God bless.